Well, it's okay. Something soft tacos, right?
Hi, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Working Class Nerds.
We're the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, February 21st, 2019. You can find this Soft Taco podcast on Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find me on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern. That's NickVern. In this week's episode, we're talking about Twitch streaming and nightmare operations in SWTOR with two special guests. Their names are Lady Rann and Kogass. So welcome to the show, both of you. First of all, what have you both been up to this week? And we can go ahead and start with Lady Rann.
Hello, thank you so very much for having me. I have been absolutely enjoying the double XP that's been going on since Tuesday, getting some of my raid alts leveled, so I've been having a great old time. How are you guys been?
I will get into that very shortly. Not as fun sounding of a past couple weeks as yours does.
Well, it's a different kind of fun. It's the end of the road fun. Like you can see you're driving through the tunnel and you can see the light at the end.
It's a pitch black, bumpy tunnel full of more potholes than the Mass Pike, but sure.
Anyway. Kogass, what have you been up to?
Oh man, I've been doing some of that ranked PvP to get that monumental data crystal in order to get my 258 main hands and offhand. I just got those yesterday. So instead of doing some double XP, I was doing that solo rank grind.
I actually saw your stream when you guys won that match, and you were like, all right, I'm done. I won. I'm getting the crystal, and it's done. So how many matches do you need to win in rank to get that crystal?
So in order to get that crystal, it takes 50 points solo ranked, and you get 1 point for a loss, 10 points for a win. So it's 10 wins or
50 losses?
Or 50 losses, or any combination of the two to get you 250 or above. So for me, my offhand was pretty much like 10 losses and 4 wins. My losses were like at the very end of it. So I was like, all right, I only need one more win. And I was 5 matches away, and I was just like, that was a loss. And then I was like, all right, 4 matches away. I can get a win. And that was a loss. 3 matches, and it was a loss. 2 matches, and it was a loss. And I was like, this is literally the last match. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. And I won it. And I was so discouraged. I was just like, I just wanted this to be over with. I didn't even care to win at this point. And my main hand was definitely a lot smoother.
Well, it's because you had the 258 offhand.
Already, yes.
Yes. So you were just that much better.
That's true.
Or I think so, at least. Well, I know that if I did any ranked PvP, it would be 0-50. I would have just shot myself.
Nah, you'd be surprised of how well you can do in a solo ranked match, especially right now with the preseason going on. I really love that they brought it back.
You don't know how crappy Marcus is at PvP.
Yeah,
and he's also a marauder, so
yeah, he's
already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, well, marauders are probably one of the strongest classes to take into PvP right now, and especially in solo ranked with the rage and their CC immunity and all that.
You should relook at PvP, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I don't like... It's one thing if we're all playing together and you guys start yelling at me because I'm terrible at the game. Yeah. Or any game, right? But when I'm playing with a group of people that I don't know and they're yelling at me via chat, I'm just not okay with that. I want to just punch them and be like, listen, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. I don't know to take the node, okay? It's okay.
Right.
Just let me kill stuff. Anyway. So, Nick, what have you been up to this week? Or these past couple of weeks?
Well, it's been a sad couple of weeks here in Nick's gaming world. I've had a lot of classwork for school. I'm about to polish up my bachelor's degree in physiology and neurobiology from UConn.
I don't even know what that means.
It's like how your body works with a focus on how your brain works, more or less.
Yeah.
Marcus is rolling his eyes. But basically, I have an exam tomorrow morning after we record this, and then one on Monday, and a third on Wednesday, and I had one last week. So that means not a lot of video games for Nick.
So it's studying
and working at the hospital. a couple days a week. But so it's really like that was the dark tunnel with a lot of potholes that I was referring to.
Oh no!
But there's an end of the road.
There is an end of the road, so I'll be free in May, but when I graduate. But
and back in school in September. Yay!
Hey, yeah, on to grad school. But it'll be good going forward. Hopefully I'll have a little more free time after this onslaught of exams, and then it'll be just sort of go to lecture, do your homework, and then you don't have to, be studying every single night.
Every single night.
So that's about it for me, unfortunately. Marcus.
That was like 45 seconds.
I know, that was record shortness.
No shit.
Marcus, what have you been up to?
Well, I have a lot to say. First, last Tuesday, we finally got the queen of the hive of the mountain, whatever she is. She's a Colicoid Genosian boss. So I decided, well, let's try to put a team together, right? Yep. So we assembled a band of misfit toys, and we went, and I was like, well, are we going to do story mode or hard mode? And somebody on the team, Kogass, said, oh, we're doing veteran. We're not going in there unless we're doing veteran mode. Like, we're not wusses. And we were like, all right. So he when you get motivated by somebody, you're like, fuck yeah, we're going to just walk in there and one-shot this boss and it's fucking over. This is going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to make a podcast and take over the world. It's going to be all about Star Wars. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, exactly. So we got in there and we died like 7 times. And Kogass is like, look it, guys, love you, but we've been doing this for an hour. I got to go. So we were all like,
"It was an off night. I couldn't raid a lot."
Well, I'm not mad. It's your off night. It wasn't your stream night. I mean, you stream for like 12 hours straight on your stream days. We'll get into that later. But anyway, all I'm saying is, so then we went back and did it in story mode, and it's like night and day different.
Yeah,
like insanely different. Like you can just stand there and just hit the boss and win.
Oh,
anyway, moving on.
And you can't do that in veteran mode.
No. So anyways, so we did kill it, and it was fun. And then Wednesday, the next day, I went back and did it with the Wednesday night team, which was kind of like the last night of the original team. I'll get into that in a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. So then, we started working on it on veteran mode, which the 2 guests that we have, they've done it in veteran mode because they're pros, and I'm a rookie. So we have not beaten it on veteran mode yet, but we will. I'm hoping Kogass takes the bad feeling Porg team tonight and kills it in veteran mode. I'm praying for them because they deserve it. Because they've been fighting the terror from beyond. Remember your favorite ops fight where Nick don't stand in the lightning?
Yeah, and I immediately stood directly in the lightning.
Yeah, remember that last fight where you go into the abyss or the beyond?
Yeah.
There's that giant monster. Yeah, they've been working on that in hard mode for 4 months. They haven't beaten the boss yet, so...
go ahead. I don't know how I stood directly in the lightning, but I didn't fall off of any of the platforms in that abyss fight against the big monster.
I think you can't fall off the platforms.
That makes a lot more sense.
Well, you can fall off the platforms, except it'll spawn in hard mode and story mode. It'll put you right back on the home platform.
And Nightmare, it will kill you.
And you will die.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was definitely in story mode. So
you were fine. You're fine then.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, on Sunday, we've had on the Death Star Troopers team, we've had some people that have left the team, and so last week we had 4 subs, we had 3 pros, and we were trying out a new tank. So with any 4 pros, things go a lot smoother than with
just like me on the team.
Yeah, perfect example. So we went to Dread Fortress. We did kill killed Nefer. We killed Draxus. We killed the Grobfuck. But the tanks. I mean, it was a new tank with one of our old tanks, and they just weren't. What's the word when they're working
meshing
together? Meshing.
They weren't gelling.
Yeah, exactly. It was our first time ever playing together, so they worked through it, and by the end of the night, we had a couple good pulls. But again, Corruptor 0-1 won the night, which we will be going back on Sunday, but that's okay. Back to the Wednesday night team. So that was the first raid team I ever joined. I kind of have this
sentimental attachment to them.
Yes. And the leader was leaving, and instead of the team falling apart, I decided to take over the team, and it's more of like it's a story mode team that is, I care about. So what I did was I told everybody roll a new 70 tune. I don't care what it is, and everybody pick new rolls, and we're going to start at level 70 with no gear, and we're going to start in the beginning, and we're going to go through, and then once we beat all the story modes and we all have gear, we're going to start progressing through hard mode, and everybody's really excited for it. So we filled the whole team, got a great new team, and it's pretty exciting.
That's cool.
The last thing...
It's like, yeah, you're turning a new leaf and sort of refreshing everyone's... You're not just, like, going back through...
Same old.
The same old with the same tunes and the same gear and the same rolls. You're, like, refreshing everything.
So I'm playing a merc, and it's awful. Okay, you press 6 buttons, and that's it. That's unless you need to save yourself with a heal or interrupt or anything.
Well, wait a minute. How many buttons are you pressing with Marauder? I thought it was like 2.
No, well, that's
you were like 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2. Yeah, you're right. But but most of the time my nose is against the keyboard, and I'm just going back and forth the whole time.
Oh, so you actually have to use your hand, and you don't like it.
Exactly.
Now I understand.
So the rotation is kind of funny because it's like 3 tracer missiles, some other shot, some blazing bolts. Yeah. Priming shot, and then you just cycle back, and it's your whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's how, like, I feel like isn't that most characters?
But don't you want,
like 5 or 6?
I don't know. For me, I like being against the boss's booty and hitting it with a lightsaber. Something about, like, being up close and personal.
It's satisfying?
Yes. Yeah. Like, I feel like even if I'm not doing as much damage...
Yeah,
I feel like I'm doing more damage because I'm like hitting my keys is 1 2 1 2 like 4,000 times.
Yeah, I get you.
And I feel like I'm aggressive.
That's
you should play Power Tech then, because they have an ability that's literally called close and personal. Just saying.
Just saying.
There you go.
Just saying.
Just put that in your back pocket for later.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time you make a new tune, just
Power Tech.
Yeah, I probably am not going to stay with the Merc. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to make a Sith Juggernaut just because it's not a Marauder, but...
Jugs are always fun.
I know.
Great phrasing. I like my jugs.
Oh, baby.
So the final thing I want to say is I never win anything, right, Nick? You know I'm like the most unlucky dude on the planet, right?
You're the last person to ever win a 50-50 raffle.
Anything.
Yeah.
I don't win a quarter. Oh, hey, you got a 50-50 shot. If it lands heads, you win a quarter. Great. Flip tails. Done. Okay, have a good day.
Yeah.
All the wheel is all red and there's one black. I'm going to put my money on red. It lands on the black when I go for it. Anyway, so whenever I sign into my computer and I'm loading SWTOR or whatever, I make sure I stop in all the Twitch channels and say, hello, how are you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, I just so happen to stop into Kogass's thing. He's doing a giveaway. And I'm like, fucking great. I'm going to try to win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to win. I don't ever fucking win. Well, I sure as shit won.
Wow.
And I won a sweet fucking armor set, so thanks, man.
Hey!
Yay.
Nice.
I feel like a winner. Yeah, I feel like a winner.
You should.
Tiger Blood, Adonis DNA, or is that a dead meme at this point?
I don't even know.
No, I got it. It's
You
not
got
dead.
it? Okay, it's not dead yet? Okay.
It's
Not
dead
yet.
to me.
Yeah, I don't even
You're
know what it
dead to
is.
Oh, come on. Charlie Sheen, the whole Tiger Blood, Adonis DNA. I'm winning.
No.
There you
Great.
go.
You still saying winning. It originated with Charlie Sheen.
Well, I don't know where it came from. I said Boomba, and now everybody's saying Boomba. What do you want me to do?
So that was a dead meme, and I should feel bad. Okay, moving on.
Anyway,
Back at the ranch.
so that's what I've been doing these past couple of weeks. And just one more note, I went to a tool store today to buy some moving blankets to move these giant cabinets that I built.
Yep, this is epic.
And my daughter, which is 3, was in the cart singing the Imperial March to everybody in the whole store, screaming it at the top of her lungs.
Atta girl!
Yes, and I was winning. And then I went upstairs to save my wife, and she was standing on her bed because it's bedtime. She looks at me, points right at me, and told me I don't know the power of the dark side. So I'm a winner as a dad. Anyway, in SWTOR news...
So we got a message from a friend of the podcast, Eric Mesco. I think he does something with BioWare or something, right? I don't know. He just came on that time. That's all I know. So he says, hey, folks, with 5.10.1 out the door, I know you are all curious of what is coming next. We've talked about some of this in the past, but I want to put a new update all in one place. Bugs from 5.10.1. We still have a few issues that popped out of 5.10.1, such as vet causing hitching that we'd like to address. Our next planned patch was actually 5.10.2, but we want to get a bug fix patch sooner, out sooner than that if we can. It won't be huge, but getting a few of these fixes out soon is something we're actively investigating. I will pass on more details on timing and what will be fixed once I know more. As far as 5.10.2 goes, our next update is coming. We're prepping a couple of blogs around what you can expect in this update, along with getting things staged to get it in your hands on the PTS. Look for more info on this update in early March. After 5.10.2, we should have details on our Star Wars Celebration Cantina announced towards the end of February. Join us in Chicago if you can, or just keep your eyes posted on the interwebs during Celebration for more news from us on what's coming this year. Thanks all.
Woohoo!
Eric. So
That got me excited.
Basically, bug fixes and a big ol' announcement of something 6.0 at Celebration.
That's pretty much it. We're not. It's yeah.
There's stalling till Celebration, basically.
What do you guys think they're going to announce at Celebration? Besides, what are you looking forward to? I guess with 6.0, with what they're going to do.
New operation.
A new operation? Okay,
I think so.
Well,
I think a new story expansion is what I'm thinking.
Well, of course,
if it's 6.0.
Well, it's a traditional expansion. Shadow of Revan and Rise of the Hutt. They keep on referring to those two as the ones that they want to
emulate.
Right? So it's going to be, what do you think they're going to come out with? What are you looking forward to for that?
Do you really want me to give you my full speculation?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's, in my eyes, it's going to be a story expansion. It'll be 2 or 3 planets, or one big one like McKeb was. It'll be one of the other, because McKeb was actually really long. It was just on one planet. I think, now this is complete tinfoil hat. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I think the Hive is the first boss of a full operation that they're working on, and they're just not telling us yet. Because if you release the first boss like they did Tithe, everybody's like, when's the second one? When's the second one? I think there's going to be more to that. Because when you're in the room and you beat the boss, there's nowhere to go. And I remember Tithe was the same way. You had to exit area because there was nowhere to go.
Oh, because they didn't have the programming set up to advance to the next boss yet?
Correct.
Now I see what you're saying.
And when you got back to the room, that's when you got to the train. But that's just a tinfoil hat. I think there will be 2 flashpoints. I think there will be a new PvP map. I think there will be a full operation at drop, and obviously the story.
Right.
And it'll be, even though I'm completely against it, I think it'll be 5 levels that we have to go to 75, and they're going to abandon the command crates, which is a terrible move, and you'll earn the gear by the level of stuff you do. That's my...
You don't like that they're going to come out with... So you think they're going to get rid of command crates, and you don't like that idea?
No, I think it's an awful idea.
What do you like about command crates?
Everything.
If you don't mind me asking.
Everything. So for Nightmare players like yourselves, right? You guys go to get the best gear. But for a guy like I used to be, or other people in my guild who just play the game the way they want, they're being rewarded for the way they play their game. And it doesn't matter if it takes them a year to get the best gear. It's a good reason to keep people intrigued in your game. And at a 7-year-old game, people that don't do ops, I feel, as if want to earn stuff. So once they're done with the story, if there's no command level to get or no progression, we'll say, by doing flashpoints, then why are they going to keep playing it? The nostalgia goes away from doing the things you like, but you're not earning anything. How many credits do you actually need, right? And I truly believe that the command crates, even though I don't like how they implemented it, I think now today, until they came out with OSIS, it was fixed and it was enjoyable because you were constantly earning something. And they were giving everybody something in those crates. Whether you want to sell stuff on the GTN, you were earning, what were those things called? The refined isotope stabilizers or the charge matter substantiator things. You could still earn those in crates, and then you could turn around and sell them, which made it fun to earn that crate.
Yeah, I kind of like the command crate idea from a much more casual player's perspective. That you can progress towards the top end gear through whatever avenue of the game you want to, and you're not
right
favoring.
You're not gated.
You're not favoring one game mode over the other.
Right.
and I think it does a decent job. I'm not quite as familiar with it as you guys, but I think it does a decent job of rewarding. Like if you do the hardest content, like a nightmare or not veteran mode operation, you should be getting the gear faster than everyone else because it's the hardest content.
Right.
And I think that you are rewarded with that through the command crate system currently. So I think it's pretty decent in that respect. I don't think it's perfect, but I don't think it's a terrible system by any stretch of the imagination. What do you guys think? Obviously, from your line of questioning, you're not a big fan of the command crate system.
Oh, no, I am not the biggest fan of the command crate system. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. When it was the worst when it was first released. It was absolutely terrible. It was the only way to get gear.
Okay.
Right.
And the way it is now, it's definitely a supplement. It's definitely the way it can be a way you earn your gear, but it's also not the way to earn your gear. And I don't mind that as much. What I really hate is that the IOCATH or the forget what that is called that you're able to buy with the command tokens. IOCATH recombinators. Those you used to be able to just buy those for I want to say like 3,500 credits and then sell them back for 10K a pop. Wow. And that was a good way for me to just make money. It's just like, I don't want to do anything with these command tokens. I just want to sell them, and you could just sell them back to the vendor right away. And then they nerfed it, and it went from 10K a pop to 8K a pop. And I was like, I can still do that. Then it went from 8K to 6K, and I was like, it sucks, but I'll still do it. And now it's you buy it for 3,500, you sell it back for 3K. So now you're literally have no reason to buy those if you just want to lose money.
Right.
So that definitely made me upset. Those were quiet nerfs that they never really brought up. Just something that I used to do on the side, be like, I can make an extra million just by doing this.
And that's why. And that's probably why they nerfed it, because there were, let's say, 1,000 of you that were doing that all day, every day. And next thing you know, you have 1 billion credits by doing it. And that messes with the economy of the game.
Right.
And it makes it hard for the economy to come back. I mean, because let's face it, anything on the GTN is insanely expensive.
Right.
I think I have 15 million credits to my name. And I mean, granted, I don't try to make money, but you can't buy anything on the GTN for 15 million credits.
Right. Nothing like worthwhile. You can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can buy stuff, but
yeah, not anything substantial.
No.
Like even a nice die is more than that.
No, I think they're only like 100,000 or something, but it's
no. Like if you get a black on black,
yeah, that's
it's
true.
Like tens of millions, if not 100 million.
I don't even know. Anyway,
it's about 30 to 40 mil last I checked on SWTOR Sean.
Exactly. Take your 15 million credits and shove it up your booty.
Exactly. I'm screwed. Rann, what do you think?
I agree with Kogass in the beginning. It was actually one of the reasons I left the game, was because I really did not appreciate the fact that I had to rely on random chance to get gear, that I couldn't go into an operation that I've been doing for years and, work with a team and get gear that way, that I had to rely on random chance. And like you, my RNG is awful. My RNG is probably worse than yours. I never win anything.
Your RNGesus is not repenting for your sins.
RNGesus does not like me. So RNGesus and I are not friends. So I actually left the game because of the introduction of CXP and the command crates. And I went to World of Warcraft. Mm-hmm. And then World of Warcraft implemented something very similar. Oh gosh, I was pissed.
You can't escape it.
I can't escape it. So my brother, who was still playing Star Wars, was like, they fixed it. They fixed CXP. So now it's just a supplement instead of the main source of gearing. And when I came back and I started actively playing again, I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. I like how this works. Because I'm a self-professed alcoholic. I have 60 characters on SWTOR Sean alone. Yeah, and almost all of them are level 70. So
wow.
Yeah, I am an alcoholic. So
you can't see it, but I'm bowing down. Yeah. I'm not worthy.
Not worthy. All right, Wayne and Garth, calm down. But so for me, the level 300 crates are an additional way for me to get my alts geared. So I am of the opinion that it is in a much better form than when it was first implemented. I still like having that ability to be all like, hey, I need to go hit up hard mode SMV and I can turn these into the Gemini and I can be done. And that's what I appreciate, knowing exactly what boss I need to target for what piece of gear.
Right.
But I also understand and appreciate the alternative gearing for people who don't like setting foot in ops for one reason or another. I am not of the opinion that highest end game gear should only be for raiders. I think everybody should have access to it. But having alternate and multiple avenues to reach it, I am okay with.
I can understand, but I guess so. What you just said was, both of you said you didn't like it in the beginning, but now it's okay. Mm-hmm. So in the expansion, I'm saying to revamp it. That's what I would like to see, but I think they're going to get rid of it, which is going to hurt the community because there's so many people that don't do ops.
Right.
Because we're just a small percentage of the game that are going to get through all their stuff, and then they're going to go, what do we do now? There's nothing to keep them there. And that's why I think the crates work. I think if they just shifted, honestly, Nick, do you remember Call of Duty? Back in the day where you got to your max level and you hit prestige and you started over.
Right.
There should be a button like that where you have to prestige to gear rank 310 times and you get something epic when you get there.
Right.
And that entices people to start over or do alts or whatever and keeps people intrigued in playing the game.
You know, that's an interesting idea to play with. That you start back at like level 1.
Command rank 1.
Right.
But make the gear worth it. So
yeah, and
you
if
shift
you get
the
back
gear
to 70 a second time,
right.
it's
tier 1 is 242. Tier 2 is, 248.
Right.
Or 246, and then 252, and then max is 258, and it allows everybody to get the gear, but the Nightmare Ops players can go beat the Gods from the Machine and get full 258 just by beating the bosses, which if they can beat those bosses, they're my heroes.
And they deserve to get it immediately.
Immediately.
It's the hardest content in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on to that, there was some talk about this Hive boss.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about how people are like, it's a Colicoid, it's not a Geonosian. And there's a codex entry, and I really wanted to read it.
So it says, why does the boss look like a Colicoid? And the codex entry reads, when designing her mutated Geonosian super soldiers for the assault on Ossus, Darth Malora ensured that her new army would be both self-sustaining and nigh impossible to eradicate. Given their insectoid nature, the key to Malora's success was in the careful creation of the mutant's queen. Natural Geonosian queens have poor mobility and defend themselves only via direct means. Thus, Malora chose to splice her queen's internal structure into the bodily frame of a Colicoid, tremendously increasing the creature's speed and natural defensive capabilities. Like the soldiers it brings to life, the mutated queen also has a reinforced carapace, enhanced sensory organs, and a vicious temperament. The resulting hybrid may well be Malora's most dangerous creation. So basically,
I need to read codexes more often.
Yeah, it's actually, we were talking about that last night, how we think it's a Geonosian, but it looks like a Colicoid. And it's, that codex actually explains everything, and it means that Melora's crazy. And she decided to do crazy things. So I'm sure you guys can help me in this. The only thing that I want to bring up is the rewards for killing the boss. Mm-hmm. So you have your story mode and veteran mode rewards. In story mode, you get the artifact, loot boxes, upper body, lower body, and your tech, which means I'm going to get 7 of the devastating vengeance relics over and over and over again. And it's going to be completely worthless. But I won't change the loot box that I want because I really want the chest or something like that. And it just keeps giving me the relic. Next thing is, do you get the Forgotten Transformer from story mode, or is that only veteran mode?
That is only in veteran mode.
Yeah, it's only veteran mode.
And then you get the monumental data crystal, which I don't even know what that gives you. And then you have a really small chance of winning a new companion, which is the Geonosian Handler license, which you're going to get a Geonosian as a companion, which that would be a pretty cool companion.
Yeah.
Have
It's
that
pretty
thing floating
cute.
around. Yeah. Oh, you have one?
No, I know a couple of people who have one. They have the same ability chart as HK.
Wow.
That's cool.
Pretty awesome.
Like I had a duel with my friend who had the companion, and the companion took me out in like 4 hits.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
he's
super
a strong
strong.
boy. Yeah, he's strong boy. He's strong boy.
So
Very
I need to find some pros that can
wink.
take me in there and give me the veteran mode one like millions of times so I can have a small chance. Well, what am I saying? I'll never win it. I won an armor set this week. I'm never winning another fucking thing for like the next 15 years.
Right.
All of your good RNG is used up.
Exactly.
I mean, veteran mode actually is not as hard as it appears at first glance. If you take the one tank strat and go in with 5 DPS, and it's the veteran mode fight is primarily an ad fight. It's ad management and it's coordination. It's you have to DPS down these certain ads first, and then other than that, it's actually really easy.
See, there is hope, Marcus.
Yeah.
There is always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah,
Not
that's
in
what a
hokey
rebellion
religions.
was. That's what a rebellion was built on.
Yeah, not hokey religions, but yeah.
Good hope.
So if you take the one tank strategy, usually a shadow or an assassin tank is probably going to be your best bet. Lots of people on Satil Shan take at least one sniper and one juggernaut just for the AoE cleave, and then you burn down the royal guards because once they reach, I think it's a certain amount of stacks, they start one-shotting, and
Yikes.
that is why people think that's why it's a lot harder at first glance, is because that mechanic is still a relative, like it's not as familiar to a lot of people. Is that they start one-shotting the people, the DPS. However, a tank with mitigation can mitigate it, which is why the off tank or the tank, that's why you gather everything up except for those 2 bad guys, and you have them on the opposite side of the room.
Right.
So
you guys, if you guys are listening to this show, you guys need to, if you're on the Satil Shan or on the Starforge, you guys need to find Kogass or Lady Rann and say, please carry me through this. Message away. So tomorrow night,
Make sure you have 30 million too, as well.
Oh, that's a low blow. You could have at least said like 16 million, because I would have been like, man, I have a shot. Well, all right, so you guys all know. So there's been talk over the years that say there's people that can carry me through Nightmare Dread Fortress. And
There are.
They exist.
Well, I don't understand how that's even possible.
it happens all the time.
Well, I don't know.
Not to Marcus.
All right, so you guys got to understand, Brontes and me like have this special like connection, and the Wings of I want the Wings of Arctic. I want it so bad, and I don't know anybody that can carry me through that. So I'm asking you two, if you know somebody that can carry me through that on the Starforge, please let me know. And
I was about to say, if you transfer over to Satil Shan, I can get you a run this weekend.
no. It has to be Starforge, because then I can't copy the mount and bring it over to Starforge.
No, but you can transfer your character over and then transfer it back.
Let's talk this week.
All of a sudden, his ears
I
up.
just like
You know,
heard
wait,
that
once
light
you
bulb.
transfer that tune, you can also claim the gear or your.
Well, I
armor set that
did.
you
So that Darth Malik awesome armor set that I won, I did create a tune on the Starforge to accept it. So but I can't go as like a level 1 into Dread Fortress. Because I'm sure I'm gonna walk in there and they're just gonna say stand here and die.
Well, you wouldn't even be able to enter, right? You have to have a.
No,
it's
you
level
have
70.
to be. You have to be level 70 to enter Nightmare. But there is a Lots of groups, especially on SWTOR, and I know a lot of the groups that do these, they do sale runs where you can pay to have somebody, so you can pay for a mount or you can pay for a title. Lots
Here's
of people,
the thing. I can't wait to find out how much it costs.
I think Wings of the Architect is like 50 million.
500?
500 million?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you might be right. I might be thinking of Dragon Slayer. Yeah.
How the hell do you even have 500 million credits?
CMT sales playing the GTN. But it depends on the group. It depends on the guild too. I know Lightning Masters, which is the top guild, pubs inside on SWTOR, sells it for like 500 million. But that's a guaranteed mount. Not like but I think that's just. I think not the package deal. I'll have to talk to Schwartz, the GM, but they have people do different deals. I actually used to do sale runs in 3.0. So like you can either get just the wings, or you can get the wings and the Gatecrasher title, or you can just get Gatecrasher, and it'll cost differently depending.
I just want the wings, and I'm on limited funds, but we'll talk.
We'll talk.
Yeah, maybe.
My people will meet with your people.
Yeah, exactly. So tomorrow, so back to the ranch, as Nick would say.
Yeah, back at the ranch.
Tomorrow night, as in February 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern, I am hosting my mega event, which is our monthly Epic Guild activity for the AIE Guild. It's happening. I'm calling it Datacron 2. We're all going to go to OSIS and get some Datacrons, and then we're going to get 16 people together to do the Hive Queen. I'm dying to see that fight in 16-man. So if you're around on the Starforge, 9 p.m., come join us. And Nick, do you want to read the next part?
Yes, if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org and get our Discord info and jump into the SWTOR channel and ask for a guild invite. An officer like Marcus, or like B-Cavs, or like Dent, or like, who else would you like? Corley. Oh, Corley's the best.
Yeah.
Specifically ask for Corley for a guild invite. And one of the officers will get you in there. You can come play with me or Marcus or any of the other great people in AIE, and we'd love to have you.
Nick, you want to take a break? Well, I know you have to pee.
You could see my leg jiggling under the table. Yeah. Absolutely. We'll be right back. And we're back. So today we're discussing Twitch streaming as well as Nightmare Ops and SWTOR, because I know Marcus can't handle the Nightmare Ops. Go ahead.
Fuck off, okay? Nick, you're gonna wait. I mean this with the most sincerity. Go fuck yourself, okay?
See that we had the tacos inside joke earlier. That was an inside joke between me and Marcus from the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just point out to everybody listening to the show. Kogass and Rann right now are doing ops while on our show. Just so you guys know, they are doing this shit while they're talking on our show.
I couldn't not die, like, with full attention, door locked, like, headphones on, glasses on.
Yeah. Don't bother me. And you still died.
And I still died probably 6 times when I tried to do an op.
All right. So
back at the ranch.
Yeah, so Nick, I'll start the questions.
Sure.
So we'll start with Kogass, and we'll kind of vice versa back. Can you tell everybody what your stream channel is so they can find you, and what nights do you stream and times? And if you could give the times as the real world time zone, which is Eastern, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm streaming on twitch.tv/Kogass with an underscore. That's KOGASS. _ I am streaming on Mondays and Wednesday nights at between 5 and 6 p.m. Central Time. I usually am streaming. Let's see, PvP right now is the beginning of the stream, and then we go into the Nightmare raids later on in the night. I believe they would start at about 10 Central, 10 p.m. Central to midnight, and
what does that mean in real time?
I think it's like 11
in real time. Oh, sorry, my bad. That's 2,200 hours local to 0 hours.
You're a jackass.
I don't even know what that means.
That was
military time.
Yeah, well played. Or hospital time, same thing. That was awesome. So, Lady Rann, what times and days do you stream?
I stream Tuesdays through Friday. Well, okay. I have a little bit of a weirder schedule. So I stream Tuesdays through Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern to about 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. On Fridays and Saturdays, I stream from 6:30, 7:30 Eastern to usually 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because I have my Nightmare raid at the time. So and then with Saturdays, I do pretty much the same thing. And then I don't stream Sundays and Mondays.
That's how hard. I'm sorry, I have to ask. Like Kogass is like doable, right? It's 2 nights a week. You get, but that's a lot of dedication. Do you ever miss a night?
I have missed a lot more nights than I care to admit, and I always feel terrible about missing them because I feel like I'm letting people down. It's like I made my word, I said my word, and I miss it. But yes, I have missed nights, and I try to minimize them as much as I can.
Of course,
yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
What is your Twitch stream name?
It is twitch.tv /Lady Rann, LADYRANN.
Perfect.
No weird underscores like somebody over here.
Well, listen, Kogass was taken. So Kogass with 1 S was taken. Kogass was taken with 2 S's. Kogass with 3 S's was taken. Kogass with like 5 S's was taken. So I just went back to Kogass with 2 S's and then went with the underscore because that works.
Perfect.
I like it.
So Rann, what games do you mostly stream, and in those games, what do you mostly stream?
I am 95% Star Wars: The Old Republic. On Wednesday nights, I have been doing a retro night with streams. So basically, games that I grew up with, we go back and we play on Wednesday nights. And I chose Wednesday nights because on my server, SWTOR Shan, that is the heaviest rating night. So there's not a lot of pugs going on. So that's why I chose Wednesday nights. But we've been doing King's Quest, which is an old.
Wow, I know King's Quest.
You know King's Quest?
Yes, I do.
I love that game.
My cousin actually went in and was learning computer programming and coded the game and changed it into King Nick's Quest.
Oh,
and,
that's hysterical.
edited it to have my hair color and stuff.
That's so cool. So
yeah,
we've been going through the King's Quest series. We just finished 1 through 4. We finished 4 last night, actually. And then we'll probably either do Prince of Persia or we'll go into KOTOR or Republic Commando.
Very nice.
Do Republic Commando. That's a good game.
People are yelling at me to do KOTOR because I've never played the KOTOR games.
What?
I've played the KOTOR games.
Wait.
Okay, outrage intensifies.
But you know what? I just wanted to go partake in the what.
All right, so
wait. I have a question for you.
All right, the show's over. We're going home.
Okay, she's gone. She's never coming back.
She's no longer a guest.
That was Marcus putting his headphones
editing
down.
you out of the entire episode.
It's like, why me?
Yeah, so no matter what you do, you play as soon as now that you're done with King's Quest, which I bought the collection on Steam because I was like, she was playing this one part and he's like over by a river and they're like, oh, it looks like there's a lily pad in the river, but there might be something under it. And I was like, I gotta play this crappy ass game. So.
The remakes that we played, the 1 through 3 remakes, those are actually for free on the ADG Interactive website, and I can link those to you.
I already bought it. It's
already downloaded.
They're better though. They're better though.
Oh, all right.
I have a question for you, Star Wars game aficionados. Have you ever played any of the Force Unleashed games?
Yes.
Those were so disappointing, in my opinion.
I liked them.
That's what I've heard mixed reviews. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
I really like
it's
Force
great
Unleashed
if you want to spend if they were like $10, I would have been happy. But a full price for a 4-hour video game that teased Boba Fett in there, and he was in there for like maybe 2 cutscenes at most.
Oh yeah.
I was extremely disappointed by the first one, and then one of my friends baited me into getting the second one, and I was even more disappointed by the second one.
Well, they're probably only like $10 now, so I can fully enjoy those at proper value. But
screw you! I
how about
like
this?
them.
How about Nick? You can play them for free. You just use my Steam library.
Oh, I can do that too.
That's
you can do that too. Even better.
But if you guys heard, he hasn't played a fucking video game in 2 weeks.
Right.
If he's going to play a video game, it will not be Star Wars Force Unleashed.
That's true. Step 1, have time to play a game.
I understand that.
Step 2, stop sleeping.
Exactly.
Step 3, be alive.
Right.
Exactly.
So back at the ranch, Kogass, what games do you mostly stream, and what type of content do you stream in these games?
I'm almost entirely exclusively SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's totally backwards. I did stream when I started streaming back in when I actually started doing with I got early access. I got like the beta weekend to Battlefront 2, so I was playing that, and I was like, man, I could really go for this game just for the space missions. And I was really into it. And then they had their whole loot box debacle thing going. So I was like, I cannot actually buy this game. Right. So it was really disappointing because I really wanted to, buy it and play it. But just the way it was going, I didn't want to support it. Didn't want to really support how EA was doing that. So I didn't buy the game. And then I ended up looking into Assassin's Creed this past fall. And I got into that. And I played that. And I streamed that. But since everybody, who's on Twitch wants to watch, if you're a SWTOR streamer, they want to see you playing SWTOR. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get a lot of people watching me play Assassin's Creed. So I just, decided to enjoy it on my own. And it was a lot of fun. I put like maybe 120 hours into it. And it's really hard for me to get into a different game that isn't Star Wars. It is really hard.
I can't agree more. Yeah. If you've ever listened to our show,
that's Marcus's gripe all the time. He's the king of buying a game, playing it twice, and never playing it again. And he'll even go as far as buying the guidebook, like the hardcover. I don't know how much they cost. I've never bought
$30 or something.
So $59.99, an additional game basically, and be like, I'm buying the guidebook to force myself to play this more. Still, the most he's played is 4 times, I think.
Oh wow!
I didn't talk about it today, but I have been playing the shit out of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, that's right.
Because it's upstairs, and I just sit my kid next to me, and like, here's my old PlayStation controller. It's the worst controller ever, Daddy. I don't like this controller. Neither do I. It's terrible. But I'm forced to use it. Like, I need an Xbox One X. But anyway.
And it's got all Kingdom Hearts 3 is good too because it's got all Disney characters in it, so she can be like, "Oh my God, there's Rapunzel or there's Elsa or whatever."
If you ever played like Final Fantasy 14 or any of the other Kingdom Hearts games, which I never did, I played the first one, but the cutscenes are so long. Like you'll play 10 minutes of gameplay, and you'll have 38 minutes of fucking cutscenes. And you're like, "Oh my God, I'm falling asleep. Let me just play the game." Anyway, Rann, one quick question. When you play Star Wars, what content are you
playing?
Okay, majority of the time it's nightmare raiding. When I first started streaming, I did the story. So I went through and did the old vanilla stories, and I went through every single one of them on stream. And it was a lot of fun. But now it's primarily raiding, so hard mode nightmare raiding, and then sometimes we'll delve into more story, so Knights of the Eternal Throne, that type of content. But most of the time it's raiding. Then just me derping around, being an idiot.
Well, that's every time.
I know.
And all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
While I have you, Rann, I'm going to ask you, why do you like to stream versus, do a podcast or like a YouTube? Why do you like to stream?
I like to connect with people over a common theme. So the reason I started streaming in the first place was to introduce a good friend of mine to the Inquisitor class story. And that was the only reason I started streaming. It was like, well, this is going to translate really, really badly over Skype, so I might as well just stream it for you. And the connections I made with the people who were there and who enjoyed the story along with me. And it was kind of like, especially doing the vanilla stories. So you know how you have like movie night with your friends and you guys get a bunch of popcorn, you have snacks, and you sit there and you just enjoy each other's company?
Yes. Yeah.
That's basically what I really enjoy doing when I stream. I'm hanging out with the people, we're doing something that we all enjoy together, and I get to meet so many interesting people from around the world. I've got, viewers from Denmark. I've got people from Germany, from Japan. And, I wouldn't be able to meet those people if I wasn't. So,
That's cool.
All right.
I can appreciate that for sure.
Kogass, what about you?
What'd I do?
everything.
Why do you like to stream is what we were asking.
Why do I like to stream? I really enjoyed watching some of my friends stream, and then they stopped playing the game, and it was really like I got into it because I wanted a different angle on the game, and I've been playing the game since launch, and some of my friends were streaming. I got into PvP because somebody else was streaming PvP, and I was like, hey, what if I transferred over? Would you play a match with me? And they're like, yeah, sure. And so after I played the match with them, and they were like, dude, you kind of know what you're doing. Let's get a guild invite. And I, watched their stream. And then I was like really into it. I asked him a whole bunch of questions out of the stream. And then he was like, well, why don't you start your stream? And I was just like, oh, I don't have the upload speed for it, for my ISP. And they were just like, oh, that sucks. And once we ended up changing ISPs, and as soon as that happened, I gave streaming a shot, and I was hooked right away. I enjoyed it, and it was a lot of PvP. It was a lot of, just me doing what I was doing. It was also a lot of, that's when Isaacs had come out. So I was streaming a lot of our prog on Isaacs, and I believe I uploaded our hard mode Isaac skill. It's like one of 4 videos I have actually on my YouTube channel of of us killing him when I got the 8-man achievement.
Oh my God. What? I'm just thinking about it. It took us, I don't even know how many weeks it took us to beat Isaacs on story mode.
It was a long grind. Don't think that these nightmare raids are just easy and they're just coming for everybody. It's just, you spend so much time just on one mechanic, and then you're just like, okay, we get it. And then you're like, all right, cool. 10 seconds later, it's a brand new mechanic, and you're wiping to that one. And so it's just like, oh, so now you have to make sure you're learning the old one better. Or better, you learn it, make sure you have it, and maybe there's a more efficient way to get it down. So then you're just like, okay, cool. It's definitely not something that just came to us the first night. It took us a good 2-3 weeks to get into it, and that was almost 3 nights of raiding.
Right.
When Nightmare Dread Fortress dropped, so this was way back in 2.0. It took my my guild's top raid team at the time 4 weeks.
Wow. That's it?
Yes and no. And that was the top team. They also stacked certain classes. They were raiding for 6 hours a day. This is Nightmare raiding is not, hey, we make it look easy. But this is also because a lot of the people who stream Nightmare content, Kogass and we've been doing this for years. We have sat through and suffered progression. My team at that time of the Conqueror of the Dread Fortress and Deposer of the Dread Masters, my team was working through Nightmare TFB. We were stuck on Nightmare Operator for almost half a year.
Wow.
So it's, don't knock yourself just because you hear, oh, we cleared it in, 2 nights. It's because don't knock yourself. Everybody learns at a different pace.
Oh, absolutely. We when we had our pro team on Sunday, with you, Kog, and Lauren, it was just the DPS charts were insane. And we were just, the Grobfok fight started and it was over. I was like, wow, that was really fast.
We did in Rage. We did have Grobthok in Rage.
But it was right after. It was
under
at 3%.
He was under
right?
the magnet. He was under the magnet, so we were good. But right after he was under the magnet,
he in Rage. Yeah.
That would have been a very different story if he wasn't under the magnet.
Oh,
but it was only 3% too, so it wasn't that bad.
It's just my point.
Well, you weren't too kind.
So, do you guys do any? So, a lot of streamers I see do, fun. I want to say events or promotions
events.
Like events or promotions. I don't know, Nick. What else would it be?
But yeah, I guess a promotion for what? For
like whatever. So I know there was
a
a guild that did like stuff for not Child's Play.
Play 60.
No, yeah, something like that, like a charity or just fun events. Do you guys do anything like that?
I'll let Kogass go first.
Yeah, we do. Well, I am doing a Twitch St. Louis stream coming up March 10th, I believe, March 9th or 10th. It's nothing big. It's just one of my friends is in charge of a local charity, and they have a LAN party every 6 months, and it's fundraising for the charity, or not the charity, the nonprofit organization. And I just go in there, I help them set up, and I'm like, hey, let me stream some of this. And they're like, cool, yeah, you can stream. What are you going to stream? I'm like, Star Wars. And they're like, what game is that? So it's kind of like
so many people.
Out. They're like, hey, you help out. We might as well let you stream it. So I stream from there. They might put me on the stage this year or this time. Maybe not. It's it's just an event that happens every 6 months. I used to do a 1v1 and 2v2 tournaments. Let's see, a couple of months ago, or like a half a year ago now. But since then, the two people I worked with have stopped playing Star Wars, so that hasn't happened in a long time. So I'm really just helping other people with their events behind the scenes.
Right.
And, I'm just like, hey, you guys have events going on. And they talk to me and they're like, hey, what would you think? Would this work? Would that work? And I give them my input. And I'm just like, this is a good idea. I'm not sure about that. But I definitely encourage them to keep going with what they want to do. Always I'm just like, put an event on and get it going. And I will do what I can to help you out and promote it and get going. And I want you to make sure at the end of the day, everybody knows it's your event that I'm just helping you with. I don't want to be seen as one of the mainliners or anything like that. It's their event. Let them have the spotlight.
Sure. Do you do anything in the SWTOR game on a regular basis, or, by, once a year or twice a year? Do you do anything like that?
Oh, no, I really don't. It used to be those tournaments. Those tournaments used to take up a lot of planning and a lot of time, but I haven't done anything to replace that. I just have random events. The Thanos glove on opening was a bigger event. My announcement that I was, going to be getting things for viewers at Star Wars Celebration was my biggest one and biggest failure. I don't feel like people actually understood the message that I was getting across. The streamers understood it and they thought it was great, but the viewers, it was a miscommunication on my end. Right. So it's just trying to figure out what I want to do, and I'm really just enjoying streaming PvP and streaming my raids right now.
Awesome. Well, the raids that you guys are in right now, as we're speaking. As we're speaking.
Are you guys streaming too, or no?
No. I'll probably stream after the recording. I was streaming prior. That I'll probably stream a little bit after.
This is like I didn't want to stream this either because this is, like I said, this is your guys' stuff. I don't want to be taking from it and having it on my stream.
Oh, right.
Exactly.
What about you, Rann? What do you do in game for events?
Well, I have actually started a Twitch mini series, basically called Entering Operations. It's twice a month, and what we do is we have a group of people who are Nightmare Raiders and experts at their role. So like a tank representative, a healer representative, and then a melee and a ranged DPS representative. And we're going through every single operation, every single fight. We're going to be explaining every single mechanic. So that way people who are hesitant to but want to start doing operations will have the ability and the knowledge to start entering these raids. So our first episode was actually last Saturday, and it was awesome. We talked stats, and we talked augments, and we talked entrances to raids, and we showed everybody where the locations of the story missions were. So that was really cool, and I'm really excited at the response that the community gave us. So it was really cool. It's really cool.
Awesome.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, could either of you, or both of you, just to quickly explain what Nightmare or Master Mode Ops are?
So as everybody who plays the game knows, there's 3 tiers of difficulty: story mode, hard mode / veteran mode, and then nightmare / master mode. Nightmare master mode usually has the most amount of mechanics. It has everything hits the hardest. Everything requires a specific check, DPS check, a heal check, or a tank check. Requires multiple mechanics that you have to be aware of, but it also rewards the highest tier of gear. You get special mounts, you get special titles, and you get that, pardon this quote, but that feeling of pride and accomplishment from completing the operation.
I can't believe you said that.
I definitely did.
What do you mean?
Because you do.
All right, so all joking aside, I mean, we're just a little tiny hard mode team, but when we killed Draxus for the first time, I literally stood up in my chair, the computer chair swung out, and I fucking screamed. And it only happened once before, because when we beat Isaacs finally, I did the same thing, and I was more worried about the dog barking or the kids waking up because I was fucking yelling. So I am with you 100% on the pride you feel when you beat a boss for the first time.
Definitely.
That sense of, I mean, and I hate to say it, but it really legitimately is a sense of pride and accomplishment. It rewards you for putting time, effort, sweat, and tears. I will not lie. There have been people who have cried over Nightmare rating, and you are talking to one of them. But
sure, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's stressful. It is rage-inducing. It is awful, but it is wonderful, and it is salty, and it is ecstatic, and it's just a fun conglomerate of weirdness. And there are so many just like great memories that come out of raiding, great stories that come out of raiding. Like my brother in TFB, when he was tanking on a Vanguard, we were taking a break at Nightmare Operator 9, and we were like, okay, gonna take a break. We all get back, and my brother's not quite back yet, and all of a sudden his character starts moving. This is a body type 4 Vanguard, bald ass body type 4 Vanguard, and that little Vanguard is just like waddling his way across the field, and we start yelling at him. We're like, Miner, what are you doing? Miner, stop! Miner, stop! What are you doing? Stop! Miner, stop! And he didn't hear us, and he just ran straight across the other side of the room and pulled the boss. Next thing we know, everybody's dead. And like 3 seconds later, you hear my brother on over TeamSpeak going, "Go, guys! Why are you guys all dead? What happened? Why am I dead?"
He fell asleep.
No, he accidentally hit the forward move button on his computer and it got stuck.
That's funny.
I thought you were gonna say his cat came and stepped
his
on the
forward
keyboard.
Movement key got stuck, and so he just trucked forward. He's just little body type 4 Vanguard, just like waddle across the arena.
Oh god.
But
man.
So okay, we all work, we all have jobs, right? When you go in after beating a boss, because I'm the same way, right? I have employees, and I go in the next day with my shoulders perked up. I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. We killed Draxus last night. And you get to work, and they're like, oh, what'd you do last night? Oh, man, we finally killed Draxus. And they're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, it took us weeks to beat this boss. And they're like,
yay.
They look at me, and they're like, you spent weeks trying to play a video game? And I'm like, yeah.
You know what, though? If you're the boss, you can always be like, hey, you get a 50-cent raise if you start playing this game.
Well, yeah, but
telling me about it.
No, but
just incentivize them a little bit, one way or another way.
Right.
Tell me, what do you know about SWTOR? And we can start talking about it.
Well, what my point I'm trying to make is, when we go into an operation, we're relying on 7 other people, and I'm going to quote Bill Belichick, to do your job.
Yeah.
And it's the truth, because when you don't do your job, you fail. But how many things can we do in our life as adults that rely on 7 other people
to do their job,
to achieve something?
Right.
Okay, if you go to a rec basketball, like rec hall, and you play the 30-plus basketball team, and
or like men's softball or whatever.
Men's softball, yeah. Like, sure, there's competition there, or paintball, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not many things that you can do that rely on 7 people that are working together as a team.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of do that in like an office job, but it's not like at the same time in one moment.
No.
You know what I mean? You can like somebody like files one report or like gets a spreadsheet together and sends it to the next person. Like you work together in that way, but it's not the same as when you're doing it all in one shot, like in real time together in an operation like
right.
that.
To keep me healed is a full-time job during that. Okay.
Yeah, raiding requires 8 people to simultaneously do their job and do their job well.
Right.
And when you try to explain that,
absolutely.
Even hard. No, that's bullshit. No, that's complete bullshit. Because you can be rookies walking into a story mode for the first time. And let me tell you, the first time that I did a story mode EV, I thought it was the hardest thing ever.
And I did. Wait, can we just... You guys might not know the backstory of my ops experience. So I had literally... I bought the Master's Datacron or whatever it's called, where you jump to level 70. I think it was like
so
30
you're
more.
a baby raider. Oh,
Yeah.
you're a baby
Hold on,
raider.
it gets
so cute.
It gets better. So this is on my Sith Juggernaut. Thank you. And not 5 minutes after I have that, I don't even have all my new abilities like set up yet, like keybound properly. And he goes, "Oh, hey, we need one more person for our Terror from the Beyond raid. You're coming in. We're on like the 4th out of 5 bosses." I'm like, "What? What's an operation?" And he's like, "Just get in here. Come on." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" That's just where
it's so pretty in here.
I was like, "Wow." I was like, "Hey, yeah." So thankfully, I had people walking me through it and everything. But like, he was like, "Hey, see that giant lightning over there? This is probably 20 minutes after I had just reached level 70.
course.
Yeah. Just don't stand in the giant purple lightning. Oh, okay, no problem. And then the first thing I did was go stand in the giant purple lightning and die.
It's lightning.
Yeah.
No, it was Operator 9.
Oh, it was Operator 9. Okay.
Yeah.
On the way to it.
It was like-
Between the cores?
Yeah, it was like cubes
That's
that were
amazing.
Yeah, it was so terrible.
Well, hey, don't feel bad.
We were all there at one point.
Exactly.
So-
we were all there.
All right, so this is where I am discouraged on the ops community. So when you finish story mode and you feel like you're ready for the jump, it's almost like, I don't want to say the word ego, but when you have Nightmare Raiders and, and you're jumping into hard mode, it's hard to find people that want to help you succeed. And until I met you guys, there weren't people, I talk to everybody. I love to talk. And
Can confirm there.
but nobody really wanted to help a team achieve something. And for me, I look at ops as like the Wednesday night team. Yeah, we're doing story mode, but I'm hoping I can mold these people into a hard mode team or a couple of them to hard mode players to be able to fill in on my Death Star troopers to eventually achieve something and hopefully someday make it into Nightmare. And I feel like it's really hard to advance in that community because everybody is so, if you're not doing all the DPS, we're not taking you because we're not hand-holding anybody.
I mean, one can even say that the Nightmare or the PvP community is the very same way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, absolutely. Right. They both communities definitely have their toxicity in it and the rivalries between guilds and players and all that, Yeah. It's definitely hard, and it's especially when there haven't been a lot of new raids. It's hard, like the people who have cleared it before are, they're tired of going back into it, the same old nightmare again and again and again. And then you have newer people who want to get into it, and they're like you guys, they're ambitious, they're eager, and it just, what it is, it takes patience and it takes time with anything that's worth it. It takes time. You have to spend that time in front of the dummy to get that DPS rotation down. You can finally do that with a healing dummy on Rishi, right? You can finally see healers can finally parse themselves on their healing and tanking. It sucks to be a tank when you're going into nightmare mode because you have to just have the awareness and know the mechanics as they're happening and be ready to adjust really on the fly with tanking mechanics. You cannot just sit there and be like, well, somebody will tell me what to do as a tank, because as the tank, you're going to be the one you should be the one who notices something not going right, or that you have to change your mechanic, because the person who has to adjust 90% of the time is going to have to be you. So if you don't want to die or if you don't want to cause a raid wipe, you're going to be the one that has to adjust. I remember at the very beginning, at the release of this game, when EV, KP, Nightmare were still extremely hard to get, I actually ended up getting kicked off of my raid team because I could not actually tank SOA last phase in the pylons. There was no shadow. There was no shadow. So they told me, you have to zoom your camera out. I'm like, what the hell? My camera's all the way zoomed out. They're like, no, in your settings and your preferences, zoom it all the way out. And so I had to literally line up the pylon with SOA with looking straight down. And I was just like, that is really hard. And then they're like, all right, well, we're trying to get it on the timer. We're not going to have you tank this anymore. And so I got kicked out of my tanking position. And that was probably one of the worst, but also the most motivating things to happen to me. Because at that point, I was just like, I'm never going to be that guy who they have to replace in a raid because they don't understand the mechanic.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it is very, and it sucks and it hurts, but it's also how you're going to react to the situation. Are you going to say, I'm not going to, people say I'm not good enough, or are you just going to keep going? And that's also like the story that happened with ranked PvP in season 6. I was absolutely terrible. And people were like, you're literally the worst, lowest rated juggernaut in the game on the server. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I want to go for those rewards. I'm going to keep doing it. And then, season 7 went by. I got silver in season 7, and then season 8 and season 9 came by, and I was top 3 juggernaut in both of those seasons. One for what was it? One for group ranked in season 8, one for solo ranked in season 9.
Good
so
job.
It's just a lot. You want to do better. You put the time and effort into it, and you learn the big thing is you learn your class and you learn your rotations. Go through your skill tree, go through your utilities, read what they do, read the other, everything that you can do in your, where you're getting your buffs at, where you're getting all the other stuff at, what's your strongest move, why people want to do things, like why people want you to have this certain rotation. And you understanding your class will really help you out in your operations. And Nightmare, because you'll be like, oh, I can use this defensive ability to do some offensive damage, or I can do this ability to just completely mitigate all the damage that would come out to me, and makes life easier for the healers or for the tanks and for everybody else. And you can adjust your rotation, and it'll make it so that you're able to do more DPS than other people can do. And you're like, well, people are like, well, that's just fluff. And it's just like, we need to kill things. It's not fluff. It needs to die.
Right.
That is my response, Let's see. Like, I would say Graptok is the perfect example. Because on Graptok, you need to kill all the ads. And you can do 15k DPS on Graptok as a DPS. And people will say, oh, that's just fluff. No, it's not. Those ads need to die 100% of the time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that people hate, especially in Nightmare raiding, is carrying. And Kogass makes a great point in saying learning your class, learning your rotation. That's going to be the first step towards, not being carried. And when people say being carried, it means that the other 7 members of the raid team had to do more work in order to get the same results per se. So like I'm in the middle of Terror from Beyond hard mode right now. And I absolutely missed my Doom cheese because I wasn't paying attention. That type of I'm on a sorcerer, and in hard mode, shut up. In hard mode Dreadguards, there is an ability called Doom, where Cyphus dooms a player. And normally the mechanic itself says for the player to consume or run through these certain green circles that are on the ground. Certain classes can do what we call cheese, which means they can completely negate the mechanic either by one way or another. For a sorcerer, that's called force barrier. So I can take force barrier, the doom doesn't one-shot me, and I move on with my life as if nothing had ever happened. But I failed it. I missed it because I wasn't paying attention to the timer. And the timer went out, and I didn't hit my bubble, and I died. So that's a combat res that's gone. So if the
Right.
tank dies, we no longer have a combat res. So
Right.
it's stuff like that people really don't, one of the things that is hardest to learn, situational awareness, knowing where to stand, when to stand, knowing what mechanics are coming when. So once you start getting a handle on that, then everything else comes with time. You're not
Sure.
going to walk into a raid and go, I automatically know everything there is to know about this boss. Mm-mm. I mean, you can watch guides, you can read guides, you can watch kill videos, but there is a huge difference between watching a kill video and doing the kill.
Absolutely, no doubt. So, speaking of currently, what are your teams working on?
My nightmare team is a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily call it a prog group, or more just clearing. So we killed Nightmare Brontes as a team last week. We two-shot her, which was awesome. So my team right now is just going through and just getting titles and mounts and stuff like that. So we're not actually working on anything. Eventually we will be going into hard mode and Nightmare Gods, though.
Okay, Cog.
We are pretty much doing the same thing. It's we're working on, let's see, SNV Nightmare, just clearing it out. It's a brand new group. It's I still have 2 people on trial, just to kind of make sure they're able to hit the checks and all that. And that's the other thing is once you get in, you're not going to be able to find a Nightmare raid group that'll clear stuff when you're just learning the mechanics. You're going to want to have to join a prog group so that, you learn the mechanics and everybody's kind of learning it together. And so that's kind of a big thing is that we're in groups that already know, with people that know the fights, know the mechanics, can go ahead and clear it, at least on their main class and role, and, hopefully on an alt class or role. And that's how, and learning different classes definitely helps out with doing that. I'm looking to start getting into Nightmare Gods, hopefully by the end of March is what I want to get into, get Nightmare Gods from the machine. That's what I'm looking forward to. And my other groups are doing hard mode Gods in Pubside, and with the Bad Feeling podcast, we are working on Terror from Beyond,
which we discussed earlier.
Yes.
So, have either of you cleared Gods from the Machine in Nightmare mode yet?
No.
Negative. Wow. I haven't even gone to Tithe yet.
Oh. I've watched Tithe.
It definitely looks painful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've watched Lauren's stream, and it is definitely painful. Because I see, the healing that's coming out, and I'm just like, oh, my Lord.
My brother has actually killed Nightmare A&E.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yep.
So, hey, thanks for coming on the show, both of you.
What?
All
right. Tell everyone how they can find you on Twitch, Twitter, website, whatever you got. Let's hear it.
You go first, Kagi.
Okay, I am on Twitter, and it's just @Kogass_. Same thing, KOGASS. Same thing as my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Kogass.
And what nights do you stream again?
Mondays and Wednesdays, starting between 5 or 6 p.m. Central, all the way until about midnight Central.
Excellent. How about you, Lady Rann?
I can be found on Twitter at the Ranns one, so it's just the Ranns, RANNS 1, and then my Twitch handle is twitch.tv/Lady Rann. I stream Tuesdays through Thursdays between 6:30, 7:30 Eastern to about 11:30, 12:30 Eastern. And then Fridays and Saturdays, I stream much later.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Thanks, guys. Oh, can I do one last thing? I really got to do this.
No.
Yeah.
Of course.
I got to give a shout out to my Pubside guild, the Last Centurions, with our little guild call, which is so.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.